see that we're still in cotton country, and I'm just wondering, I see down here all these now pink bales wrapped in pink, and the other bales that I've seen up near towards Moree were all wrapped in yellow, and I wonder if there's any significance there. That is this a different grade of cotton, or did they just run out of the yellow plastic to wrap the bales in? Somebody out there might be able to answer that question. I see a sign coming up. This is the next rest stop. There are only 1, 2, 3. In fact, there are only 2 on this 150 kilometre stretch of road. One is about 25 k's back, and there's this one, and then the next one is Cobar. So, not really well served for rest stops. I'll just wait to see. It's probably a couple of kilometres from here. Yeah, 2 k's rest area. This may be the one that I actually camped in at the back of, if it turns out to be on the right. There's 2 sort of free camping things. One is 1037, which is where I did camp, and there's another one a little bit after it back. So here we are. No, this one appears to be on the left-hand side, so it's not. This is a truck stop anyway, but it's not the one that I'm thinking of. And it's got a shelter. Right, we're going in here. Coffee time. 500 metres on the left. And there's a truck. There is a truck, and you could possibly go in there off to the left and camp if you wished. Okay, this will do me. I should probably stop on the the beast certainly prefers not towing anything, because its fuel consumption is vastly improved, and this is how I'm now travelling with my stretcher tent. There's the Aldi tents on there. Those cans up there, they're empty now. My spare tyre and a toilet tent. Good on you, beast. It's working very well today. I will say though that I'm definitely a rooftop tent camper, because even though I've tried, the stretcher tent is pretty good, but it's quite heavy considering what it actually is. The Aldi tent is quite brilliant, but the rooftop tent has that convenience factor, particularly the old quickie, and I did order some new legs for that quickie, and I will repair that when I get home, and I'll replenish all the legs on it and refurbish it, and I think that's going to be the way I go. Okay, well, we've had our cup of coffee, and I actually yesterday I bought 4 donuts, so I just polished one of them off, and it was delicious. So we're now 120 from Cobar, or now 118 according to this one. It says there's another rest stop at 118, but that's 2 k's outside of Cobar. It's hardly necessary, is it? And from then we'll start actually heading west. We're heading south now between Bourke and Cobar, slightly southwest. Then we'll head the other way, and we're heading towards South Australia. There's a Bourke National Park right-hand turn down here if you want to go to Bourke. Ben Lomond Road. I don't think so, not this time, folks. It's only 3 k's in. I bet it's nice though. There are some lovely places here in New South Wales in this around this area and sort of north of Broken Hill. Mudawinji springs to mind, and I spent a lovely time up there some time ago. Back in goat country, there's a little black one. Couple off to the side. Oh, there, yeah, feral goats. That's what that sign said. So now we will be coming into the Shire of Cobar, probably. I'd say. Yep, there's the Cobar sign. We're about ready to pass the campsite that I spent on the way up here with the camper trailer. It's in here where that caravan is and the truck. But I went down a road or a track in there at the back. That's a good campsite in there. I like that in there. And now I'll turn it off because it's wobbling around a bit, this GoPro. With all the travelling that I've done over the years, and I've seen a lot of changes, and I wonder how long it will be before what we term the freebie campsites become a thing of the past. Because unfortunately, with the amount of people who actually come out now, a lot of encouraged by COVID, of course, and the government, there's so many people travelling now, it's getting harder and harder. And I did notice in Queensland that a lot of the what probably used to be free campsites now have poles placed in front of all the conveniences, and there's fences around so that you can't actually go any further than maybe 20 metres off the road near where the facilities are. So it's actually, it encourages caravans, but it does nothing for people who say in rooftop tents or who want to use the swags in the old style. So I sort of start to wonder how long it will continue that people are able to actually do these things. Like everything else in this country, maybe in 10 years time it'll just be a thing of the past. The thing, it went with holiday camps as well. What used to be caravan parks have become holiday parks. And you don't camp anymore, you hire a cabin, so maybe that's the future. Well, we've got a bit of a convoy going here, I think. Bit naughty. Hey, we got back in before the line. this one. It's one of these Jayco. It's not a caravan, it's a, what's the name, then vehicle under tow with bikes strung on the back. It's crazy. Amazing. What people think they need to take, eh? Oh my God. Okay. Well, that was a very quick stop in Cobar. Wilcannia is 158 or something. Broken Hill is 450. Now it's only 12 o'clock. So I will see when I get to Wilcannia how I feel and whether to push on to Broken Hill. Because it's doable. When I say it's doable, it is, because as I am heading west, I'm going to gain a little bit of time. I might actually gain a half an hour today. And I'm chasing, well, there's no sun out, as you can see. It's gone quite cloudy and it's still pretty cold out there. So I'm just going to press on, get as far as I can, and even if it takes me, say, between now 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock to get to Broken Hill, I may as well get to Broken Hill. Pull in at the Lilyvale rest area and get rid of my wind cheater. It's getting quite warm in this cabin now, even though it's a little bit overcast, but I might partake of a cup of coffee as well as park behind this big truckie here. Okay, that's a quick cup of coffee. Now we're back, and a fruit bar too. After that little stop with a coffee and a fruit bar and divest myself of my wind cheater, it's now 1:10, whatever the time was when I left this morning, and that means I've now been travelling on the road since 7:10, which is now 6 hours, 6 hours now, so that's not bad. I can't actually work out how many Ks I've actually done today. I'll have to do that a little bit later, because I keep resetting my trip meter at each fuel stop, and I haven't been taking a note of it. Somebody's flashing me now. Lights, I just saw me. Talking about like statistics and things. I like to take a lot of statistics anyway, because I know what the car is capable of doing, blah blah blah. But one thing I have learned is and I've probably said this on previous videos, I normally carry 40 litres of fuel, and on most trips I end up bringing the damn thing back. This time I decided no, I emptied the two 20-litre jerry cans at Ryan's some time ago now, and said I don't need to, because unless you're actually going on a desert track for 500 or 600 kilometres with no fuel, you really don't need to carry any extra fuel with you. It's really just an emergency. But if you think about it, I carry 40 litres, that's 40 kilos plus the weight of the jerry cans, and they're metal jerry cans. So I've sort of thought, well, I don't think I need to do this anymore with the jerry cans, unless I happen to be going right out into the outback somewhere. It's about the only time I do it. But if you're sticking to the bitumen, you don't need it. Of course, having said that, I qualify that by saying, if you don't know what your car's consumption is, then you better learn quick if you're going to come out here, because their fuel stops are sometimes far between, and you know, that's the only reason that you would really need to carry extra fuel, is if you don't know what your range is and you are such a tightwad that you don't fill up at every opportunity, then you know, you could get in trouble. Well, I've actually seen everything on this trip. What am I now? Just passing a sign. I'm 160 k's outside of Broken Hill. Just left Bourke. And as I say, I've seen all sorts of things. Today I've seen 2 cats, a fox, emus, goats, and I just saw 2 feral pigs off to the side. I think this is the most wildlife I've ever seen, or the most varied amount of wildlife in any of my trips. It's amazing. I just saw these things off to the side and I said, oh, it's probably goats, but no, it was 2 pigs, feral pigs. Amazing. What a country. We're coming up to Spring Hills rest area. This was that rest area that I had the camper parked between 2 trees, and the toilets were sort of just off to the left of the beast as on the way through when I came through the camp. And that is coming up very soon. You on this one. Spring Hill, they call it. You'll see it as we pass. Oh, there's lots of campers there, and there's my little tree. Oh, and somebody's got a caravan in there. Look at that. That's my camp spot. No, it's not mine. Okay, I'll turn you off. You're all getting bored, I know. And of course, you wouldn't believe it. Just after I showed you Spring Hill, and I turned the camera off, I come around this abandoned hills, about 5 or 6 emus just on the side of the road there at the right, no more than 150, 200 metres I guess past that Spring Hill thing. It's always the way. Never work with animals and kids, they say. We're about to come up on Little Topar. This is a little store and a fuel stop on the way. We're 77 k's from Broken Hill now. Little Topar was actually on an episode of Housos, which is an Australian program devoted to people who rent housing commission houses. It was quite funny, but they ended up there at Little Topar in one episode. Got a lot of flashing lights anyway. Woo! Is it an accident? It's fire. Uh-oh. What's happened there? Bushfire? Somebody set fire. Probably some idiot threw a cigarette out or something. Okay, that's exciting there. We haven't seen that before. Maybe it was just a regular burn-off. According to my watch, it's 4:15, which is the time that I'm supposed to arrive according to the Karen in the Garmin. And Karen in Navman, she estimates 5:11 arrival, so they're within a couple of minutes, a few minutes of each other as far as their estimates. And I will say this, I programmed the Garmin Karen to actually go to an address 15 kilometres short of Broken Hill, because Garmin need a full address apparently, which is a stupid thing. They would be better off if you could put in just a generic, like the name of the town, take me to the middle of the street. But I've been there, done that, and I've said it all before. But the interesting thing is, me not knowing what time it is actually in New South Wales, I'm going to be interested when I do finally get to the Broken Hill. And I think there's a police car stopped somebody up ahead. Okay, well, after the excitement of watching all the firemen put out a bushfire there at the side, I'm now 58 k's from Broken Hill, and I'm going to end this transmission for today right now and concentrate, because when I get into Broken Hill I will have to arrange some accommodation not going to be erecting a tent or anything tonight, so it'll be a motel. I will see you all in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's Sunday and it's 10 minutes to 7 and I'm just leaving Bourke Hill after a nice stay in the, what do they call it, the Silver Haven Motel or something. Very nice, and I had a lovely meal at the Junction Hotel last night. Beautiful. So now we're on our way to, well, we'll make it probably back to Port Augusta today. It's 451k, so that's good. The sun is just about rising. It's 6:54, and according to the Bureau of Meteorology, that is the time that the sun will rise today. I hope we get it out in the back. I can actually see it through my rear view mirror. So it's following me at the moment. I think there's a little bit of cloud on the horizon, so it may not emerge for a couple of minutes, I suppose. You know, the light is getting stronger back there. I'm having to strain to actually look out the rear view mirror to see it now. Anyway, that'll work. Well, yesterday, I don't know whether I mentioned this, but yesterday I did 846 kilometres in 10 hours, which is an average of, 8.26 kilometres an hour, 846, 8.4. So the car really went well, touch wood, and the old beast is performing admirably, and it's going back hopefully today to Port Augusta. And we might actually even try and catch up with Harry if we can, although it's a Sunday and he might be working, but I do have a little thing for him as a token of my appreciation for the work that he did on this car. So I'll give him a call when I get close to Port Augusta and see if I can meet him. We might just pick up the sun coming through that cloud now. I don't know how it'll go on the GoPro, but there it is there. And I hope I can't turn the camera much better, I've locked it. So there we go, that's the sunrise over Bourke Hill. We'll have a little look of where we've been. I don't know, that sun may be interfering with the GoPro, so I won't leave it on for long. Amguri Tea is painted on that big structure there. Amguri Tea. I remember Amguri Tea. Crazy. A lot of Aboriginal settlements up that way. Just coming back into Coburn. This is the border with South Australia, and I think the little shop's shut. Yes, no fuel. There's no fuel between here and Peterborough. I think it's 200 k's. That's the Border Gate Cafe truck stop. No longer operating, I don't think. We are closed. Yep. Welcome to South Australia. Thank you, South Australia. Thank you, New South Wales. Okay. Now we're in another state. I don't know what the South Australian motto is. Victoria used to call them themselves the state of excitement, I think. Don't know why. I know they were the garden state. Okay, Yunta 147, Hoodlawira Borough, Peterborough 235. Let's go. Oh, look at that out spread out before us. Beautiful, flat. Australia. This is a time when you get that beautiful light, just the sun is, well, a little bit above the horizon, but you're getting more long shadows coming from behind. Beautiful colour. I hope it comes out on these GoPros. Ooh, better watch for trains. I see those clouds in the distance there. I hope that's just the shadow of the sun and that they're not big dark grey rain clouds. Sometimes it's the sun which sort of makes the clouds look a little bit dark. We shall see. I couldn't see that Mazda BT50 in front there. He crept up behind me and I couldn't see through my mirror because the sun was shining in there. I heard the engine, oh! But he's just cruising along. I'm doing 100 and he's probably doing about 102 or 3 or something. Ah, this is beautiful. This is probably the best time of the day to drive, particularly when the sun is at your back. Just those colours out there are magnificent. Ah, God, I love this country. Nice to see some trees on these usually flat plains. Must be water over there. And that railway line of course goes into Broken Hill. Probably goes maybe even down to Adelaide, I don't know. Certainly go through Peterborough. O'Leary is 39 k's from where I presently am. So might stop in O'Leary and have a cup of coffee, my first stop or second of the day. I had one at the motel. Have a look at that sky out there. Blue Creek is out that way. Bloody goat was there and I was stopping just as that car must have come up. I must have given them a fright. It's Murphy's Law. You're driving on these roads and there's not a car to be seen and something happens and it all happens at the one time. It's crazy. Just when the goat was, and I was actually watching him because I thought maybe he was going to cross the road and I put my brakes on. That person in front there must have shit themselves. There's more goats. Look, this country is becoming goat land. But I do notice that in the restaurant last night at the Junction Hotel in Broken Hill, they have a goat curry, which apparently is really, really good. So obviously somebody is making use of goats now, which is terrific. Okay, here we are at O'Leary. Okay, I've stopped. I'm going to have a coffee. Well, O'Leary's changed a little bit since Kay and I originally came here. That's their public toilet there, and it's wonderful facilities. This is their rest area. There's a telephone, courtesy of Telstra. And here is the O'Leary pub. Can't see it in very good light at the moment. And there's the beast. Well, I don't mind telling you, it's cold out there. Oh, that wind is really cold. I couldn't stand out there anymore, so I'll have a little bit of this coffee and then I'm going to hit the road. It's much too hot in this cup. So I might continue on for a few minutes and then find another rest area and just pull off and finish the rest of my coffee. Okay, let's head out. Talking about the cold, I did read yesterday or last night on the Bureau of Meteorology's forecast. They were actually forecasting some very, very cold weather for basically the southern part of Australia for over this particular weekend. Something to do with the winds coming up from Antarctica or something, but it's very, very cold out there. Luckily I've got my heaviest wind cheater on today again, and I've just put the heater on in the car. I'm cheating. Now, what does this sign say? Always read the signs. A break every 2 hours could save your life. True. Every 2 hours, stop and have a coffee. Hill is the name of this little town. Well, little hamlet. Manor Hill. The police station. Railway station. I stopped here, I think, didn't I, on the way through? I can't remember. Yeah, I think I did. Anyway. And the Manor Hill Hotel. We just passed it. Right. Well, there we are. And there's another thing over there to the left, and it said Amburi Tea. They must have been big fans of Amburi Tea. The bars are popular around here. That was two of them that just passed me. One after t'other. So that's 3 Navaras in a row. Go, go, go. It looks like I'm heading into a little bit of weather. But, those clouds are certainly building up a little bit, although there's bank on the middle, there's blue sky underneath. Or at the back of those islands, yeah. Yunta. Y-U-N-T-A. I don't need fuel yet. We're going towards Oodlawirra and Burra. We're not going to Arkaroola because it's unsealed. Competing oil companies here. We've got Ampol on the right and we have Mobil on the left. And BP cards are welcome. It's Yunta Hotel, the Yunta police station there off on the road. Speed checking cameras on these big gantries that I think are a travesty. Nothing to do with road safety at all. Technology run riot to control us all. Huh? Take my picture, you bastards, go on. Monitor my speed.